Hello, good morning. So today is going to be a review of 8.1 through 8.4. So 8.1 was on addition and subtraction of polynomials. You're like, use regular people language, combining like terms. 8.2 was on distribution, sharing through the process of multiplication, kind of the more intense ones, like you did this in middle school, but we're adding some variables, okay, letters. And then 8.2 was also on factoring. Factoring is a way to break down something into its important pieces. Like, let's say you went to a restaurant and you're like, ooh, the sauce on this pasta is really delicious. What kind of spices are in this? Now, my mom is amazing and she can figure out any spice that's in a sauce. So she'd be like, oh, I taste a little coriander. Oh, I taste a little cream in there. And she would break down a sauce that I'm like, it's just delicious. And that's all I can do. But my mom can be like, oh, I'll make this when we get home. And she could. It's a crazy ability, which I, again, don't have. So we're going to do the same thing, though, to math. Like, how can we break down a big math problem to its more basic ingredients? Because sometimes looking at the basic ingredients helps us understand it a bit better. So 8.1, we were adding and subtracting. 8.2, we were distribution and factoring by GCF. 8.3 and 8.4, we were multiplying binomials. A binomial is a two-piece math problem. So like we as humans, we're called bipedal. We walk on two legs. A bicycle, bi, that prefix bi means two. So anytime you see the prefix bi in the front of a word, it's implying that two is involved. So bipedal, I walk on two legs. Bicycle, you're riding on two wheels. A binomial means it's a math problem with two parts. When we multiply a binomial times another binomial, so two pieces times another two pieces, when we multiply it, we usually get a trinomial. So think of a tricycle has three wheels. A trinomial is a three-part math problem. So we're multiplying binomials to create trinomials. Okay, cool beans. So you have a test coming up, and that test, exam or quiz, whatever you want to call it, mine is going to be 15 questions, 3 points each for 45 points. So I made a study guide, actually two, so let's take a gander. So here's study guide A, or plain old study guide. This one I've already placed on your module on Canvas with an answer key. And now I'm going to create videos so that you can watch these independently if you need to, okay? I also made a study guide B. If you flip this one over, there's your study guide B. I did not post this one. This one's an in-class study guide, okay? So cool beans. Let's look at the front. Let's take a little tour. So your study guide and your exam are broken up into, or test, quiz, whatever you want to call it, are broken up into three parts. Part 1, combining like terms. Part 2, multiplying. One chunk times a 2, a monomial times a binomial, a monomial times a binomial, a monomial times a binomial, a monomial times a trinomial. And then down below we have our binomial times a binomial situation. And then the last piece, we are factoring by a GCF, greatest common factor, the biggest thing they all have that I can take out. Cool beans. So let's start from the top and check out what we got. So this is the same thing that your test will look like. I know because I made the test, at least for Capo. Let's see, the first one. I'm adding and subtracting polynomials. So I know to add or subtract something, they need to be like items. I'm an x2. No way, dude, I'm an x2. Really, we should hang out. We're both x2s. So we're going to take 3 plus 4, that's 7, and it's going to be 7x2s. It doesn't turn into an x4. This is the x2 group. Think of it as the team X, but they're double strength. It's still team X double strength. There's just 7 members of that team. Let's check out this. I have a frog with 3 legs, another frog with 3 legs. I definitely have like terms. It's frogs with 3 legs. Well, how many? What's 15 take away 10? 5. So we only calculate with that coefficient in the front, that special number in the front. It's called the coefficient, okay? So 15 take away 10 is 5, and it's F3s, not F6s. Remember, these are frogs with 3 legs. It's still frogs with 3 legs. Next, I have an X3Y2, X3Y2, X3Y2. You know what this group is called? The X3Y2 group. Now let's do some calculations. 14 plus 8. Use your fingers and toes if you got to. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 take away 2. That's going to be 20. So we're going to take these numbers, 14 plus 8, and then subtract 2. And then we keep that second part. That didn't change. That's what made them like terms. That's what allowed us to combine them. Next. This one's spicy. It's still the X2 group. Now, use a number line if you need to, okay? So, I put that in the wrong position. So that's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is 0, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this is -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. If you're at positive 6, and you go back 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're at -4. Use a number line. I have a number line right above this piece of paper, and I also have individual number lines that you can use on any assessment, any test, any quiz, anything ever. You can grab one as you walk in, okay? They're laminated, they're nice, cool. So you're gonna have a couple of these easier ones, and then you have these spicier looking ones, but I promise you, they're not so bad. So let's scooch this up and take a gander. So this is, we're adding a trinomial to another trinomial. I'm adding this guy to this guy. And it's addition. We are adding. So addition is not that crazy. So my suggestion is grab this one and combine it with this one. Like I'm a x cubed, I'm gonna write it under the other x cubed. I'm a regular x, I'm gonna write it under the other regular x. I'm a -5, I'm gonna write it under the other regular number, and I'm just gonna add going down. So if you had 11 negatives and you went more negative by 5, you're gonna be at -16. If you had 4 x-ray machines and then you get 2 more x-ray machines, you have 6 x-ray machines. Make sure you have these signs in there. If you're at -7, use a number line and you go forward 4. -7, go forward 4. Here's -7. Here's -7, and you're going to go forward 4. You're going forward because that's a positive 4. -3x cubed. Notice the x cubed stay, the x's stay. You had no letters, no letter. That's your final answer. This one has one little teeny trick because it's minus the whole thing. I'm subtracting the whole thing. So I need to distribute this negative first. What's a negative times a negative? A positive. What's a negative times a positive? A negative. What's a negative times a negative? A positive. And if you don't know those, that's important. So a positive times a positive is a positive. A negative times a negative is a positive. Mixed signs are always negative. And these rules are for multiply and divide only, okay? So if you need to write that down, maybe make a little flashcard, study it, do it. It'll help a lot. So the first thing we did was we distributed. Now we're gonna add this guy to this guy. And again, I would grab this guy and kind of line it up underneath. You're a y squared, I'm gonna line you up with your y squared guy. So they're nice and lined up. You're a regular y guy, and you're a regular no letter guy. And then I'm just gonna add going down. 7 and a -4. Well, if you're at +7 and you go back 4, you're gonna be at +3. If you have -3 negatives and you get 8 more negatives, you're gonna be at -11. And then 4 plus 5 is 9. Cool. I'm gonna end this video here and we're gonna start up on the section 2 of the quiz. Thanks for coming by. Bye.